Meaty Hunters Quarantine Power Hour.
Here we are tonight with extreme heat. Welcome to the show. We've had an extremely hot week here in Seattle compared to our usual.
Got up to like 85 degrees in Everett. Unbearable.
Yep, tonight's our show on extreme heat. We had to cancel some of our regular programming because of this extreme heat. The whole country's been fine. We had to do a special tonight on it. So glad you're with us. It's going to be a lot of information tonight about how to avoid extreme heat and deal with it and staying hydrated, all that stuff that you usually get from the Power Hour. A lot of information.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like your. I know you're having trouble framing heat, Curt, but I think the springs at Yellowstone National Park were pretty good for that.
Oh, good eye, Sean.
Yeah. There will be physical heat explored, and also I think some emotional heat will be explored here this evening.
Oh, emotional heat. Okay, exciting. And we've got a little something for everyone tonight, I think. It's been a few weeks since we've been on, and I guess we've got our little meet and greet and update. Guy, you went on a trip to Eastern Washington to witness some extreme heat.
I witnessed some extreme heat, some extreme dryness. I must say that not every member of the Maddison clan enjoyed it. Enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, it can get hot over there.
Yeah, it can get hot, and there can be it can be hard to find some respite and a place to get out of the heat. But I tell you, it was a great trip because I met a fantastic fellow who is an associate of ours, who is Owen McCauley, brother to Rory McCauley, our great friend and local artist, and all-around good guy.
And a fantastic artist.
And a fantastic artist too. Owen, his brother, is an artist, and I did probably one of the more unusual art deals on the side of a winery on a dusty road, on a dusty dirt road.
That's the only way to do an art deal with Owen.
Yeah. Through social distancing, we met each other. We pulled our cars up. We got out of our cars. We talked to each other across at least a 6-foot gap, and then he went and put a painting next to his truck, and then I walked over and I picked a painting up off the edge of his truck and put it in my station wagon. And we bid each other farewell, and hope that at some point in the future we will actually have a real meeting.
I'm a big fan of his art. We have several of his pieces as well.
Yeah, I like that. I like that meeting. It sounds like a old caper movie, or you're buying some stolen art or something. You have to meet the guy out in the middle of the,
right,
the desert.
Oh God! If only we could. If only it could have been filmed. It was totally out of like one of those like B crime movies, you know, from the 70s. Yeah.
Might as well have been crack.
Yeah. Well, that's what was loaded in the frame, right?
As far as everyone is concerned now, after it's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was hot there, obviously. That was extreme heat there.
It was extreme heat at Lake Wapato.
Another place that's having a lot of extreme heat right now is California, which means it's time for Inside with the Hollywood Outsider.
Hey gang, it's Dan, coming to you from California, back from Washington State. I got here just in time for some serious extreme heat. It is hot, hot, hot. California's on fire. This week we had our first ever alert for fire tornadoes. So fire tornadoes are now part of our world here in California. But look, Hollywood's gotcha. I'm thinking about this extreme heat now. I think it's an extinction event, you know, an extinction event, which Hollywood has, you know, we've got those down. But the first movie that's already back in production, happening right now, shooting in the UK, is the next installment of Jurassic Park. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, dinosaurs, dinosaurs. So we're back. Hollywood's shooting for you. We're going to be entertaining you soon. And on that note, in a strange other note, speaking of dinosaurs, CBS, which is kind of in light of all the other things in our social world right now, CBS has always had a knock on it that it is the oldest, whitest network ever. It is the home to a ton of cop shows, and they have rushed back, and they have SWAT and several other cop shows already back in action, ready to shoot. They're really nailing it. They've got their thumb on the pulse of what's going on in America, and they've got this down. So on that note, look, I think all the signs of an extinction event are here, and that's it from Hollywood.
All right,
thanks,
yeah.
Dan. Beautiful.
I just got to ask one thing about on the CBS bringing back the cop shows, which are controversial because of their racial profiling, obviously. Are they coming back in a more politically correct form?
That is what you would hope for. They are coming back primarily because I think they're easy to shoot. Half of the characters are playing dead already. So, yeah. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they are going to correct their ways, that there's been a lot of statistical analysis about the way those shows are put together, who they focus on, the kind of images they paint, and also the writers that are involved, like in the writers' rooms, and that they're working to correct all those things. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt for about 30 seconds, and then we'll watch. But, I just find it ironic that cop shows are the first thing back. And then, look, I forgot one other thing. The next round of things that is coming back, Big Brother, Love Island, The Bachelorette, they're going to do bubble versions of a bunch of those crap shows. So, and that's not on CBS. That's on everybody. So reality shows, and look, is it all a sign of an extinction event? I think it may be.
Decline of the Western civilization, Dan.
Yep, it is. It is.
Well, that could be a good topic for next.
For that insightful insight.
All right, gang.
That is defund the cop shows.
Thanks, Dan. That's some good stuff.
All right. What's
next? Could be a good topic. That could be a good topic for a show. Is extinction.
Oh yeah, check it out in a few weeks.
Have we not done that before?
I can't believe we haven't done that already.
I can't believe we haven't done extinction.
If we haven't, let's do it again.
We've done like 3 space or time travel, something like that by this point.
I mean, our sound is so adaptable to any of these sort of like massive, sort of
events
/ boundless philosophical positions like extinction or outer space.
Well, we tend to give it enough time to you learn on the show. We give it,
That's right. We really
speaking of that,
deep.
I think it's time for a little music, isn't it?
Speaking of our music, let's do some of our music. How about that?
All right. I got a little something for you that looks like things that you could say could be hot or extreme heat.
Oh, you do? So you have a soundtrack that you can put to our stuff here?
I do.
Okay. Well then.
Oh yeah, I'm already liking what you have, Curt.
Crayons can get hot in the summer.
Yeah. And you can make sculpture out of it.
Well, Sean, let's just take it away. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready to bend some oscillators and
I'm ready to bend some oscillators.
Bend some oscillators and open some gates on me, brother.
There you go. Yeah, that was a good one, Guy.
Sean, you provided some extremely tasty
Thank you. Thank you very much.
stuff.
That worked out pretty good.
Yeah,
That
that
one.
worked out real good. I feel like we might need to fess at some point, but not today.
There's already going to be some magic that's
That's
debunked on this show. Let's not debunk all of our magic all at once.
okay. All right, I'm with you.
But it does, at least for me, make me wish that we could all be in the same room again.
Oh,
That
amen, brother. Amen.
everybody out there does wish they can be in their same rooms with their special people.
Tell you what, it's a tough time.
So speaking of magic, you just said, and friends from afar and extreme heat, we have one of our guests tonight is from Austin, Texas, and
Yeah,
they,
one of my favorite places.
they have extreme heat a lot. So he knows what he's talking about, and he knows what he's talking about with video effects and graphics. He's going to give you a little tutorial rundown tonight. And we want to introduce tonight, Craig Burke from Nacho Concern, Austin, Texas.
Yeah, welcome, Craig.
Welcome,
Hey,
Craig.
hunters.
Thank you for being with us again, and this time in the flesh, as opposed to being the maestro behind the scenes, as it were.
Or the ghost.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Well, let's get started. So, so I want to talk about a little bit today. So I'm Craig Burke, the Nacho Concern, and we are in Austin, extreme heat, hot ass Texas right now. So it's about 91 degrees outside. In my garage, it's probably hitting about 100 degrees right now.
Jeez.
So we're going to make
Damn.
this...
I do see a slight sheen of sweat on your cheeks there, brother.
I always look like I'm glowing. That's the beautiful thing about living down here. You look like you're constantly glowing. But yeah, I kind of want to. So from what I've heard, AI Pete's a pretty popular character. So I want to show some tools that you can use to kind of create your own AI. And this is how I do it or would do it. And what we're going to look at today is a program called Resolume Avenue. And then I do have a little MIDI controller pad. Resolume works great with MIDI, and you can kind of control all the video effects with MIDI, which is super awesome. So I'm going to share my screen right now so that you guys can see what
So
I
MIDI, and then is MIDI is very old at this point. Is this still an older technology, MIDI, that's just, it works well for what you're doing, or is it just still a current? Is it very current in what people would use a MIDI?
I think MIDI is used in this application because there are tons of MIDI controllers that exist that are easy to program. They're super cheap right now to get a MIDI controller. Basically, it's super easy to kind of map the controls in the program to the MIDI controller.
All right, good to know.
Yeah, so what we're looking at right now in my garage, this is a green screen. This is my friend, former bandmate, Jeffrey Glass, who recently released his own vinyl, An Awesome Death. Super awesome album, best cover art I've ever seen. And what you can kind of see here, so assuming you guys can see my screen, we're looking at Resolume Avenue right now, and you can kind of see it's a collection of what they call layers, and layers would work as you expect. So the top layer is in the top of the video, and then they kind of progress down with the bottom layer being in the back of the video. There's several columns, so you can preload the videos that you want in here. And let me see if I can minimize some heads, but there's a ton of effects, and you can kind of add these effects to a clip. You can add them to a layer, and then there's lots of little tweaks you can do. So I'm just going to kind of show you guys how we can maybe make a quick AI. So one of the first things we do to make an AI is we get some really impractical sunglasses and we put those on. So Jeff's going to put on some super impractical sunglasses. Already looking good.
Beautiful.
Green screen, we're going to kind of key it in. So here we go. So we can see here, we have this chroma key. We can kind of move it around, and then we'll just key it in for a black background. Now, the next thing we want to do to create an AI is we need to add like a max headroom background. So we're going to start that here.
I like
So
the
you see
Max
that's
Headroom
in-
reference.
So that's in this layer. So that's behind Jeff here. And then on top of that, what I'm going to do is using that MIDI control tab,
Yeah.
we're going to apply some effects here. And what we can kind of see is now we've essentially created an AI using Resolume. And we have all sorts of fun controls like shift RGB, the shift glitch. We can do a delay RGB. And then always popular particles.
What does RGB stand for?
The bloom. I love the bloom.
So
Red,
RGB
green, blue.
is going to be exactly red, green, blue. So what we do is delay those red, green, blue colors, and we can even kind of check it out here. We'll look at this layer, and we're going to look at the RGB effects for this layer. So you can see in this delay RGB here, we're going to delay the red by 0.15, the green by 0.3, and then the blue by 0.45. So then when we turn it on, we get that separation.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, okay.
So much fun. Same with the shift. We can shift this out in different distances. We can shift it up, down, left, right.
I have a question, Craig.
Yeah.
So you can create samples like this too, is right? They're video samples.
Yeah. So what we could do is pre-record Jeff saying different things and doing different gestures, and then we can easily flip between those different videos. So we can go from the live video feed to Jeff making an awkward movement, and then we can flip back and forth to kind of give it that weirdo kind of cut effect.
So those triggers on your MIDI controller you can map those to the video sample.
Yeah, it's so easy in this program. So to kind of look at it, if you see at the top, I'm clicking shortcuts, edit MIDI. At this point, anything that's highlighted green here, I can essentially select that item. And then on my MIDI controller, all I have to do is press the button or move the little potentiometer. And there we go. I've mapped that. So you can kind of see that distance in our shift RGB control is mapped to 1 CC2, which is one of the controls on this little MIDI controller that I have.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and you can make that loop, right? I mean, it's just like a regular music loop.
That's exactly right, and that's even that background image that we have going on. That background image is looping. There's so many kind of cool things that we can do. If we look at this particular background image, we can adjust the speed of it. We can speed it up. We can slow it down.
Can you speed it up super fast?
That is 10 times speed right there. So he is traveling through a wormhole, and then we can slow it all down. He's just real tired right now. Little sleepy baby. And then he wakes up, and it goes faster again. Yeah, so super easy to map these controls. We can even kind of set up some random controls. So I heard your topic of the show is extreme heat, and so we are definitely dealing with that here in Austin, Texas. So I thought
how hot was it there today?
I think the high was maybe 102, 103.
Oh, fuck.
It's basically 9:30 here right now, and it's 91 degrees outside.
Oh my God, you are hating it.
So we just sweat at night. We sweat in the mornings. We sweat in the afternoons. That's all we do here is sweat.
Do you have air conditioning in any form?
Oh yeah, that is pretty much essential. In this garage, there is no air conditioning, but oh yeah, every home, office, every place has an air conditioner. This is maybe like the opposite of living in Siberia. In the summer, you essentially just stay home.
Right.
Well,
and compounded by the fact that you have to quarantine, you might as well stay home.
Might as well. Perfect time for a pandemic in Austin, Texas.
So essentially, you're sacrificing yourself for this video by being in your garage in the 1,000,000-degree heat.
I've probably lost, a half gallon of perspiration.
Oh my goodness!
This floor is covered in water.
And you're doing that for Beauty Hunters. I have to say, I'm grateful for your sacrifice.
And it's a lot of fun. I love the show, and I love being here. And I did have one more I kind of wanted to give if we have some time and I can share my screen again.
We do.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
We also,
I
you know,
wanna
that thing
show
we
you
did with the
guys-
faces, the multiple faces that would move, and like rows of just
The
you know,
cluster
some of those effects I'm talking about.
bloom effect.
Yeah, well, I'm going to show you kind of some effects. I'm going to recreate what
Okay.
it's like to be in Austin, Texas right now,
All
using
right.
some of these effects. So, you know, Jeff is a pretty dapper guy, so he likes to go walking down South Congress Avenue. Sweet guy, but you know, it's really hot
Fuck,
outside.
that's awesome.
So we're going to add some red because Jeff is just burning up down here.
Oh, look at him.
Oh wow.
And then on top
Sunscreen.
of that, we're going to use these top layers effect, and this is how hot it is
Oh
in
my
Austin
God.
right now. There are literal just flames popping up everywhere.
Oh my lord.
We are,
Oh, that's good
We're
stuff.
yeah, I mean, everywhere you
Oh.
turn, you see a pothole, and boom, flames come out of the pothole. So,
Oh, fuck. That's good
and then
stuff.
you even see, like, you know, in the background in Congress, we're starting to get those heat waves. So I'm adding a little goo filter, kind of minimizing it so we can see that background's getting a little shaky.
Oh, yeah.
And then it does get so hot that we're just going to go straight to like a heat predator vision because that's what it's like to live here. You're basically living in the hottest place that I've ever lived, and that is here in Austin, Texas.
Oh, shit. That's
And
hilarious.
yeah, so this is the demo.
It's terrifying
basically-
yet psychedelic at the same time.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can't decide if I should be on mushrooms or alcohol.
you know, I mean,
Both.
you just kind of, right, exactly. You start with the mushrooms and your alcohol, and then you just see where it goes. But yeah, so this is, again, this is Resolume. We can go in here. We can substitute, you know, if we're tired of looking at Hot Jeff, we have some other options. You know, I pulled in a video of some chickens. We can just watch
Hot
chickens going down South Congress. They're hot. I'm going to add a little VHS glitch to this. And now we're thing. And then maybe it's like an ode to Iowa. I know they've just had some terrible weather.
Fuck, that's hilarious.
Put those chickens, you know, on some farmland. We'll reduce our goo a little bit, so we just have.
Oh,
This,
Craig, that is quality
Oh, yeah.
stuff, my man.
and then we love chickens here in Austin, Texas. So
And hearts and heat.
Aw,
We
love.
we love to
We
barbecue.
love farm animals, hot farm animals.
That's right.
so these are the effects of Resolume. So yeah, I would say I'm pretty much an amateur at this program, but it's super fun to use.
You know what? We're all amateurs, Craig. Thank you so much for that tour. That is amazing.
Yeah. So happy to kind of share this with you guys. And yeah, you know, I'm sweating balls here and dying. So any
I'm
other
sweating
questions?
balls, and
on
it's
the-
only 82.
For all the people that have seen the shows that have had the character AI Pete, so now you know how you get that some of those like effects happening. One of my favorite is the replay effect, the ability, you know, because every time that he pops in, he goes, "Beauty hunters, please enter an access code." Same.
Yeah, and that's what's a lot of fun. You can pre-program in this application. You have all your pre-recorded videos, and you set them in different cells in that layer. And you can map each of those videos to a pad on your MIDI controller. So just from the MIDI controller, you can tap it and move from video to video. So you can kind of do those quick cuts to different videos using this MIDI controller pads.
Oh, that's good stuff, Craig. Hey, you know, and for those of you that don't know, I mean, Nacho Concern has been a critical part of the last Muscle Memory record, the video that went along with that, and we're really grateful for their participation.
Yeah,
Also,
we-
our live feed to the Maker Faire with them, our reverse or our video feedback loop from Austin during the Maker Faire a few years back. Also,
That's right. Yep.
Right.
That was
This is
super
an
and
ongoing collaboration that started there at the Maker Faire and then continued on to Muscle Memory and now on the show itself. So thank you
right.
so much for being part of it, Craig.
Yeah, I love it, and I hope to be a part of the show and everything else and see you guys again. So have a great rest of the show. I'm going to go find some cooler weather outside of this garage.
I
and,
appreciate it.
yeah,
Grind
Thanks,
those
Craig.
balls.
Go find a drink with some ice in it.
Well, that was great. Yeah, Craig, those guys are great in Nacho Concern. And you know what? It just totally, I should have asked him about it. It's like, AIP brought George Washington back last show. He brought him to the present. I mean, do you ever know what happened to George? Oh my!
I don't really
gosh.
know. I haven't heard. Oh, there he is.
There's
Oh,
George
George
Washington right there.
Holy George!
Hey, such bounty people have. It's astounding. Congratulations.
Have you found bounty at the marketplace, George?
I have found bounty. There's a lot of things here. In my time, we had boycotted England and we didn't export to anyone, so we were pretty much on our own. And I congratulate you on your ability to produce.
On our self-sufficiency?
Your self-sufficiency. This is what we were striving for. And Patrick or Peter around, he needs to go back in time and inform my time about what has gone on in the subsequent decades, centuries.
Well, we're
AI.
hoping that possibly he can send you back to your own time in the past. Are you willing to go back? Would you like to go back to the past, or are you happy with the present?
This is a little disorienting. There are a lot of things here that I appreciate. There are a lot of things that clearly the protections we tried to put in place when we wrote the Constitution didn't work. It was an imperfect document. We knew that. Things are a little crazy right now, it seems.
Well, I think this is there's an opportunity here because you seem willing to sort of spill the beans on some of the problems that you experienced in the beginning, and now that you've had a taste of the future, I think it'd be a great time for you to speak to one of our current pundits who might have some questions for really relevant historical questions.
I don't think that was what was happening. I was thinking that we'd more like talk to George and ask him where he was at right now.
Really?
Obviously, you're in Seattle.
It's a Place Market, hence all the talk about the bounty.
Apparently, I am in Pike's Place Market. People from out of town or different times to call it. I've been taking some notes about what I've seen.
With your feather?
Well, someone provided me
Quill
with a
and
pen.
pen.
It just didn't feel right, so I taped some feathers on it.
It's a quill with a Bic insert.
Quill.
You say so. What you were asking about my observations? In my
Yes,
time?
please.
Oh Lord. At Zooks, I took some notes. What's the matter with you people? It's been about 3 weeks, and it's clear that some of the things that Mr. Jefferson, my colleague, wrote, as far as fears of what could happen to our young nation, are coming true. We instituted a couple of protections to try to prevent some of these things from occurring. The Electoral College, which was a bad idea to start with. It was a compromise. It was supposed to help. Let me just consult my notes.
Oh, these are good. These are good notes. I'm really
One of the
enjoying this.
reasons, one of the reasons for setting this up was to help prevent the election of a man of such world-class jackassery as you now hold as your president. We thought giving an equal voice and spreading it out would help, not to create cabals, or I guess you call them political parties now, and would help like try to prevent interference from foreign governments. Clearly we were wrong. Um, that's one of the main things I've sort of noticed, because when we wrote this thing, I mean, you can't think of everything.
Well,
So we were trying to get free of England, that's all. And there's many things going wrong. You can't just cover all the bases. Anyway, that's sort of what I've found, and that's what I will try to take back to your past my regular time that I'd be ready to go back to anytime you send me.
I'm not sure that's possible, but
We can send you right. Tell us, did you consult at all with your revolutionary brother Alfred E. Newman about any of this?
I just picked this up for something to write on. I have read the magazine. I'm surprised.
You are in the present.
There was we did write such things. At the time, you could get shot for it. And pretty soon, I predict you will be able to be shot for it.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of the? Can you give us an example of the toilet humor of your time?
Oh, it's the same as yours. Toilet humor never changes, as far as I can tell. If I could find a toilet in this Pike Place Market, read the walls, and I could more ably compare.
That's the beauty of self-sufficiency, is there's only room for the things that are produced. There's no room for the waste products. So there's no toilets at Pike Place.
So why don't we let George
X and the XY?
Why don't we let George go find a bathroom real quick, and you play a little music?
Capital.
Oh,
I think it's down on the second floor by that busker down there.
Right, next to where the pipe shop used to be.
Is that the
There's
bread
XY
shop? Near the
on
bread
it.
shop? Oh, wait, that's a bead shop.
Okay, well let's why don't you guys give us a little music? I've got a little video, another little video we can play.
okay.
That's, and we'll have George. We'll get George come back as soon as he finds that bathroom.
All right, I'm on it. Guy, you ready?
Yeah, let's do one here, Sean.
Okay.
Let's rock it.
Okay. Music.
Thick and tasty.
Thick and tasty. Well said, Guy.
That was awesome. It's so much fun to jam.
Yeah, it is indeed. This isolation is making me a little crazy, though, I have to admit.
There's too much I in isolation.
Yeah, well said.
I get sick of myself.
I'm just beginning to hate me.
At least we get to do this.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty good. I mean, it's a substitute, but it pales in comparison to being at the hunting lodge, I gotta say.
It does. We got so used to it. We're so lucky. We get how you get used to your situation. You end up taking it for granted in a way.
Well, I didn't realize that I was taking it for granted driving down there every Friday, but turns out I was.
You like traffic.
I mean, I would accept traffic tenfold over what I'm stuck with doing now.
Right.
So is George? I wonder if George found a toilet down there.
Indeed, I did.
Yay!
Oh,
Congratulations!
there he is.
Hey, am I here? I know not how to run these contraptions. Oh, yes, I did. I don't know if I'm on screen. I can see myself.
I can see you.
Oh, okay, I guess I'm here. I'm still here. Yes, did. Found a bathroom next to the bread shop, and I gotta say some of the books on the bathroom walls were quite entertaining. One in particular, I don't understand the context exactly, but it did say, "You can put a man on the moon. Why can't we put them all there?" I'm not sure I understand the man on the moon, but it was funny and an outrage.
An outrage, indeed.
Oh, I didn't even see him on my thing.
George,
Don's telling me, oh, who's this guy we have someone on our Zoom call. What's going on here? I just saw my gallery.
Yes. Excuse me, please. My name is David Hinckley. Hello, can you hear me?
David.
Oh, I can hear you,
Yes,
David.
we can.
My name is David Hinckley, and I'm host of Firing Line, where the tough questions get asked. And I've got a couple of questions for President Washington. President Washington, your people say that you cannot tell a lie. Is that true?
Such impropriety. Well, I'm convinced I could, in fact, tell a lie, as most of us have cut down cherry trees in our past. Try not to.
Well, is it true that you time travel?
You tell me. I just got caught up in this thing. I mean, when it first happened, I thought I was beset by bees. I appeared in this land. I guess it's a similar land, though it's a lot west from where I land. This time is really strange to me. I cannot time travel. I believe I was forced somehow through the machinations of others to arrive here. And I'm hoping at one point I could probably go back.
Well, can you at least travel?
I can travel. You know it.
Have you been around this great state that's named after you?
I was only recently made aware that the state was named after me. And I've only gone from some strange garage, to my right, to this Pike Place Market location.
Hmm.
Well, let me recommend you cross over the mountains and go to Martha.
I would love to go to Martha. And on it.
Martha, Washington, a beautiful town in Eastern Washington, and this is part of our segment we'll be having with as George is here. Sorry, get our graphics in here.
Good. The graphics are good, Curt.
Oh, look.
George in Washington.
So I guess David Hinckley's questions are fair. Will he be traveling, and how do we know that he's a legitimate time traveler, since we cannot meet him in person either? But I guess that's what David Hinckley's here from. What is it called? Firing line? Cross line?
Firing line, also known as feet to the fire.
Oh, feet to the
Right
fire.
on, brother.
Oh.
Fire on the firing.
I'm quite prepared to. I've faced several tribunals in my time. I'm quite prepared. Have at it.
Well, David Hinckley, perhaps you could pose some questions that that may help you understand George Washington's perspective on the current society that he's found himself in.
President Washington, do you find it strange that not everyone owns slaves anymore?
I was hoping someone would bring this up.
I wasn't.
Starting to get hot in here. Extremely hot.
It's extreme heat.
Extreme heat.
I must comment on the fine tobacco products that can be now easily purchased in this time. I'm a tobacco farmer, and it took some time to whittle one of these up in my day. Shedding some layers. It's extremely hot.
Oh,
George,
Well, you've been.
you practicing
already.
your evasive maneuvers that made you such a demon to deal with on the battlefield right now?
Ooh, very astute. Well, if I could find my quill, I would, but I cannot, so I will respond to this question. In my time, many of us knew, and when we wrote the Constitution, my colleague Thomas Jefferson, oddly, ironically, wrote in that in the institution of slavery lay the seeds of our destruction as a young nation. Many of us were opposed to slavery. It became an economic expedient, which some of us were for, some of us were not for. Have you figured that out? Have the slaves been freed? I mean, I don't know. There's evidence that maybe it hasn't really occurred. Is that an answer, David?
This is
Take
I
that,
don't know
David.
if that's an answer.
Take that, David.
This is
See,
exactly
he's real.
extreme heat, sticky moment that we would expect when we got something serious happening on this show, like David Hinckley at the firing line.
Well, this
Well,
is-
hey, look at me.
Come on.
Back, Hinckley.
Also, firing line. It's also Pomeranian heaven. So.
Ooh, another evasion.
like I was saying earlier before the meeting, do not search hot animals, by the way. Bad idea, everyone.
Do not what?
Do not
search hot
on
animals.
YouTube. Do not search hot animals.
Yeah, no,
So,
that's-
President Washington, if I may,
Yes.
if you get a chance to go back to your time, what lessons would you bring with you from observing things in our time?
I would bring back the lesson that the Constitution was a very imperfect document, and we knew it. And as before mentioned, the two things, the Electoral College and the institution of slavery, really needed a little more thought. And if AI Pete or Pat, who I confronted in my last experience here on this strange small talking box, if he was in fact forced back into my time, I would strongly advise him to get involved with the Continental Congress and inform them of what came of maybe some of the things we didn't deal with quite so early as we should have at the time. If I am given the chance to go back, I will try to take those back with him, but I would hope that Guy, Pete, or Pat would be back there doing it right now. questions. There's no time to
Well,
waste.
we can't be sure of that. It's possible that you'll just have to tune in some other time, I guess, to see that. I see now. I realize we're getting a little. We're going to go a little over on our show, but we'd love to have you back, George and David. We'd love to have you back for another firing line. I wanted to do a little. I know we have another segment left with Poetry Corner this evening, and I guess a little bit of a recap. But we appreciate your insight this evening, George. Thanks.
Thank you. Send me back.
Well, we will see, but I think that maybe we'll see David again and yourself, and perhaps we'll discuss some of the archaeological facts in the future that have turned up from your time that we know now that you didn't know back then. Perhaps you'd be interested in that.
I would be very interested in that. I am interested in these sorts of things, and it's very confusing because clearly there's a lot you know that I don't.
Yes.
Well, we know you like beer, and we know you like hemp.
And you're not completely deadly allergic anaphylactic to bees.
No, so far so good.
And you like Pike Place Market.
That's great. It's bounty.
Okay, are we going to leave people with the Poetry Corner tonight? Is that our story? Now
Yeah.
Clock over to our
Drop some pee.
Well, and
yo.
do we have well, thanks to David Hinckley. I don't know where he got our Zoom invite from, but he must have hacked it, I guess.
Well,
I'm a journalist just trying to do my job. It's a pleasure.
You're a damn good one, I can tell,
I'd
too.
love to have you back. I feel like you are an important part of the current program, and perhaps you could slide in at some other point.
And who are you?
Yes, exactly.
Well, what a
David,
great interview from David Hinckley with Firing Line.
hacking us.
Firing line, people.
All right. I'm gonna so, I know we've had some what I think are some just fantastic, earth-shattering, emotional poets profiled on our show before. The likes that people are not used to seeing. I mean, poetry's a bit of a lost art. People don't read poetry on television anymore, but we certainly do here, the Beauty Hunters. And I have a piece today by Georgios Christinos Panioutou. This is, I will say, this is and he writes in the English language, but he's of Greek heritage. So, but it's actually, I'm going to read something by G.K. Panioutou right now.
Oh my God!
May well be familiar with. It's a very popular piece, and I think there's something you should know. I think it's time I stop the show. There's something deep inside of me. There's something I forgot to be. Take back your picture in a frame. Don't think that I'll be back again. I just hope you understand. Sometimes the clothes do not make the man.
Oh God!
All we have to do now is take these lies and make them true somehow. What we have to see is that I don't belong to you, and you don't belong to me. Yes? Yes. Freedom. I won't let you down. Freedom. I will not give you up. Freedom. Have some faith in the sound. You've got to give for what you take. It's the one good thing that I've got. Freedom, I won't let you down. Freedom, please don't give me up. Freedom, because I really, really love to stick around. Good to give it up for what you take. Freedom. And
And
That was
scene.
magical, Guy.
That was some of the most
Woo.
fantastic graphics that could ever be.
that really
brought
tied it all together.
When you're reading a piece like this. So I just like to put it out there that a lot of people are not particularly familiar with Georgios Kyriakos Panioutou and that wonderful piece, but he was quite a person. He was a person who changed things in this world, changed things for the better, actually. Sometimes he was much maligned. A lot of you may actually recognize him if I were to say his stage name or his nom de plume, which was George Michael.
Whew.
George Michael Washington.
Yeah, I tell
That's
you what.
right. Another great George.
One of the other great. By George, he's a great George too. I agree.
Amen. Boy, Guy, the your reading is really inspiring, and I have to say that I'm moved. I'm touched and moved by your prose.
Oh, thanks. I enjoy reading poetry. On that.
Well,
note,
we enjoy listening to it whenever you do it, and we want to thank all of our audience tonight. And a couple last notes I always want to like to bring up is make sure to subscribe to our channel.
Please
Make sure to vote. Request your mail-in ballots now, and we should get ours in Washington October 13th. Buy our record from Dirty Knobby Records, Muscle Memory. Look out for our new record on Weird Beard called Animal Magnetism. And actually, it's on right now. You can tune into Solid Action with Stevie D on KKCR.
Oh shit! It just
Radio
started.
Free America. Yeah, it just starts. So
check
go
out
to Radio Free America.
Don't miss
Check
it.
out-
It's good stuff, people.
from the Mid Pacific. He's probably the grooviest DJ in the Mid Pacific, I would say.
Oh, I would say by a long ways.
Yeah, go to Radio Free America and check KKCR, and it should be live right now. And have a listen to some Solid Action.
Quality solid action. I
Well-
believe he played some Beauty Hunters on his show in the last few weeks.
That's right. He has before. So very thankful for that.
Yes, we are. As we are to Paul Kidney down there at PBS in Melbourne on his show Ear of the Bahira, which you can also check out archived on the internet. PBS Melbourne, Ear of the Bahira, where you can hear the Beauty Hunters played in archive on his wonderful psychedelic experimental.
I've heard it myself. It's amazing. And thank you to Craig Burke from
Oh, yes.
Nacho Concern. Those guys are great collaborators with the Beauty Hunters, and we hope to continue that relationship.
Yeah. Thanks to all of our collaborators and our engineer, Don Marie. We'll probably see you in another couple weeks, I guess.
For another really great show. Thank you.
You want to play out with a little music?
Oh, sure.
And I got one last video that's probably going to get flagged when I put it up here. So
All right.
we'll
Well,
go out on that one.
I'll just play out with the same thing I came in on.
All right.